she was selected to represent 2 U.S. delegations, one in South Africa and one in South America. Ms. Raman has an MBA from Emory University to augment her skill in telecommunications and technology. Her ingenuity and multi-field experience makes her a driving force in the entrepreneurial world. Please help us in welcoming Ms. Kanchana Raman for her speech, Chase Your Dream.
Good morning, FeTNA. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate this opportunity to come here and share my journey as an entrepreneur. And they told me, speak about being a woman. And I would tell the youngsters in the room, there's no better time to be a woman than 2018. So with that, I have a little, let's see. Can I get the PowerPoint? Oh, okay. So I have a little clip, the volume.
Hell, it's a family motto. Are you ready, Jim? I'm ready. I want to make sure you're ready. Here it is. Show me the money. Show you the money. No, you can do better than that, Jerry. I want you to say it what you would mean it, brother. Hey, I got Bob Sugar on the other line. I'm here to say it. No. Show you the money. Not show you. Show me the money. Show me the money. Yeah. Louder. Show me the money. That's it, brother. You got to yell that shit. Show me the money. I need to feel you, Jerry. Show me the money. Jerry, you better yell. Show me the money.
So that's all about entrepreneurship. Is, at the end of the day, we all have to make money, whether you're an entrepreneur or an entrepreneur. And this is something I tell my sales team all day, every day. And I went for a boot camp in Kellogg Business School, and I remember my professor walked in first day, and he said, you can either be a lifetime entrepreneur or you could be a high-growth entrepreneur. A lifestyle entrepreneur is basically somebody who has nice cars, nice homes, enough to send the kids to school and put away money for retirement? Or do you want to be that high-growth entrepreneur who creates wealth for himself, herself, creates wealth for the investors, creates wealth for the shareholders, and gives back to the community for the greater good? And I think most of us want to be that high-growth entrepreneur. Give back to the community for the greater good. As all of us know, Bill Gates is a great example of that, and I think we're going to have some tracks coming up that are going to talk about social entrepreneurship and the concept of giving back. So I want to talk a little bit about the 90s. I think most of us here in the room probably experienced the .com, and I was one of those entrepreneurs who started in the 90s. A humble beginning in terms of no great vision or mission or business plan. I just wanted a little bit flexibility and the passion to become an entrepreneur just by reading other people's success stories about what people were doing in the Valley. So I had this little book that used to come home called Network World. And there was free money. There was money everywhere. So I said, you know what, maybe I get started. But the 90s was just such a great time that in the first 2 years of being in business, I worked in about 18 countries. So for those of you that have worked for the Marbles, you're probably familiar with Lucent. So I was a programmer working in the Lucent switch, the 5E switch. And I was deploying 5ES's switch globally. I worked in countries like Haiti, China, Saudi Arabia. And then the 90s, kind of matured into the 2000s when the industry caved in, when the telecom industry caved in. And that was when I started seeking out mentors, writing up my business plan. And I think I really started my business maybe in 2001, 2002, when adversity hit me really hard. And one of the persons I always think about is my father. My father, I call him the pilgrim. He came here in 1956 to go to Harvard, and he went back to serve our country. So he worked in IIT Madras as a professor for many, many years. He was my biggest cheerleader. My father always wanted boys, but he turned out to be 2 girls. So he put all his energy in raising us like he would raise his own.